What's going down, everybody? Welcome back to the next episode 26 of the Dynasty Trade Show here on FTN Network in the lab. But I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be very transparent. This is not going to be a show reviewing Dynasty trades. Let me just get that out of the way now. But I will be talking about some players right now that I am actively trying to trade for, and I think you should too, and some players that you probably should be thinking about moving away, because the submission of trades that I got this week, honestly, they just weren't that good. I didn't feel like it warranted your time. I need those guys to step it up and submit better trades. So instead of going through stuff that is painstakingly obvious, swayed to one side, we are going to just talk about some players that I feel we should be trying to trade for in Dynasty and some cats you may want to be trading away. So I was watching, of course, preseason football with everybody else in the whole fucking world this past weekend. And, leading up to the games today, I was always told that if a player tears their Achilles tendon, they're done. It's a wrap. That player is no longer good. Discard him, get him out of here. He will not recover, especially if that player's a running back. Their careers are done for after an Achilles tear. And I'm not here to debate medical opinion. Like, obviously, if the sample size shows that running backs who tear their Achilles don't come back, then that's the information, right? That's factual. But I just try to apply common sense a little bit, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful to the medical people out there, but I just think that maybe medicine and advances in technology and treatment and how athletes, go into preparing their body and keeping their body in tip-top shape, maybe that's improved since, 1980, 90, 2000, even 2010. I don't know when these injuries occurred for all these players, but just maybe there's a chance that we have improved in modern medicine and recovery and body prevention since, years before us. And maybe the quality of athlete is just a little bit better now. Maybe a running back suffering this Achilles tear was half the athlete that this player that we're going to talk about right now, who you need to be trading for, Los Angeles Rams running back Cam Akers. Maybe that guy just isn't as athletic as Cam Akers. But I've seen players. Emmanuel Sanders was the first one. I mean, I was dug in on this narrative that torn Achilles, you're done for, right? Because you lose your explosiveness. You lose your ability to burst. It's gone. And I was told that this is a universal truth, right? You just got to get on board with it. There's no point to try to get around this. Emmanuel Sanders tore his Achilles tendon, and I spent all summer talking about how it would be a wasted pick. His Achilles torn. There's no way. He's too old. This is a debilitating injury. And Sanders came back and played well. Then he, comes back the next season and he's playing even better. And then the season after that, he's playing even better. And now he's with the Buffalo Bills, and he's probably going to have another good season. I saw Kevin Durant rip up his Achilles tendon. He comes back, and he looks like Kevin Durant, the best player on the planet. Marlon Mack tore his Achilles tendon, and in less than a year, I saw him on an NFL field today, and he looked explosive. He looked like Marlon Mack. Marlon Mack is no Jonathan Taylor, but he looked like Marlon Mack. Kevin Durant was Kevin Durant. Emmanuel Sanders is still Emmanuel Sanders. And all of those players, although it's not the running back position, utilize their ankle and rely on explosiveness in order to win. So right now, with Cam Akers being sidelined, I know the expectations for him were high coming into the season, but with Cam being sidelined with this Achilles injury, this may be a blessing in disguise for those of you trying to acquire Cam Akers. Because right now he's got a dynasty startup ADP of 8th, 9th, 10th round. He's fallen to players that dynasty managers that have him, they want to trade for him. Trade him away. I'm seeing him go for seconds. 2024 first rounder for Cam Akers. Mike Davis and Gabe Davis for Cam Akers, shit like that. I'm going to just bank on the fact that I just watched Marlon Mack come back in less than 12 months, that I've seen KD, that I'm seeing all these other players, Emmanuel Sanders. There's another cat that I heard about today that's coming back from an Achilles tear less than 12 months. I'm just going to bet that Cam Akers is able to overcome that and be even 90% of what he is now. That's still better than the majority of the running backs in the league, and Cam Akers is still so incredibly young. I'll give him a year. So if you can go out there right now and trade for Cam Akers, I think that's the prudent move to make. So y'all go make some trades. Go get Cam Akers. Let's just err on the side of modern medicine improving and this young man being an athletic freak that he's going to come back and drop those trades so we can see what you were able to get Cam Akers for, because I think right now you need to get him before people really realize Marlon Mack is back, right? Marlon Mack looks straight, and they start to feel like, man, I gotta hold that Akers. I can't trade him away. So I would be trying to actively trade for Cam Akers in Dynasty. And the next cat, Donovan Peoples-Jones, DPJ, wide receiver at the Cleveland Browns. I'd be trying to trade for this guy. I was made aware today that the Browns can get out of deals with OBJ and Jarvis Landry for no dead cap hit. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but what I'm saying is there was a reason why Donovan Peoples-Jones was one of the highest rated recruits in his recruiting class prior to committing and enrolling at the University of Michigan. I mean, the talent is there. We saw flashes during his time in Michigan, but the issue is Michigan is the place where prospects go to die now. Ever since Jim Harbaugh took over, it's like a black hole there, and all the talent, it's just there, and it just festers. It just rots away. But we're seeing early on, training camp buzz, his first preseason action, DPJ is making plays. He looks explosive. He looks good. He looks like a player that I want to invest in, a young player, oozing with talent that has that special teams ability that we are seeing a leap right now from year 1 to year 2. It's still what does he cost you in Dynasty? Like, at most, he costs you a 2022. Let me tell you right now, I know what's in the 2022 class, and I'd rather bank on Donovan Peoples-Jones opposed to a mid-2022 second, if that's what it costs. And I don't even think it costs that. But Donovan Peoples-Jones, the hands, the playmaking ability, the size, the Browns are never going to be some throw it 900 times a season team, not with Baker Mayfield. But if Baker can continue to improve and be efficient and hit Donovan Peoples-Jones on those plays that allows him to use his ability to run after the catch and make plays, again, you may have something kind of special on your team. So go out there and try to get you some Donovan Peoples-Jones. As well as Tua Tagovailoa. I know he threw an interception. I know it looked like he tried to force it in there, but in the words of Zach Wilson, this is practice time. I need to see what I can get away with and what I can't. And, I'm pretty sure he watches that back and he doesn't make that throw. But up until that point, Tua looked good. Everything out of the Miami camp this summer has been overwhelmingly positive about Tua. And early in that game, he was dealing, man. He looked good. He looked confident. He moved around. He made good decisions. He made that one bad throw in the end zone. I don't care that he doesn't have this cannon of an arm. I don't care about any of that. He pushes the ball downfield. He can extend plays with his legs. He's moving in the pocket in order to push the ball downfield. Again, he's one of the best 32 quarterbacks in the NFL. There aren't 32 quarterbacks better than Tua in the NFL or about to come into the NFL. So I think he is more than safe. He's got fantastic weapons around him. He's getting healthier. He's entering into his second season. Everything is pointing up for Tua. So another one of these quarterbacks that I still think is a little bit undervalued. I'd be out there trying to acquire Tua. Go out there and trade for Tua, especially in Superflex leagues. Solid, rock solid QB2. Now, the last guy that I want to talk about that I think players, dynasty gamers, need to be out there trying to acquire. And this is a player I don't think you really want to do like a one-for-one, because then the other manager would be like, well, why are you trying to trade for this guy? And it kind of throws the deal off. But as a throw into a deal as some bigger pieces, Quez Watkins. I think you need to go out and trade for this kid. And not because I think he is going to be the wide receiver one for the Philadelphia Eagles, because I don't think that's the case. I do not think that's the case. The wide receiver one is Devonta Smith, and when he comes back, he's going to be the number one target. But I do think Quez Watkins is in strong contention for the wide receiver 2 spot. When they're in 12 personnel, 1 running back, 2 wide receivers, the 2 wide receivers on the field are probably looking like it's going to be Devonta Smith and Quez Watkins. We saw the explosiveness in that first preseason game, right? He takes that screen, 76 yards at the house. In the first quarter, Jalen Hurts overthrows him. He had already burnt the cornerback, and it would have been another 60-yard touchdown bomb from Jalen Hurts. Again, more beat reporters out of Philadelphia. He's been the best player in Eagles camp at the position since Devonta Smith has gone down. All signs are pointing like trajectory sky high for Quez Watkins. Again, if you go try to trade, let's just say, I don't know, Elijah Mitchell for Quez Watkins, people are going to be like, why? It just raises concern. And in Dynasty trade strategy, you don't want the other person, the other fantasy gamer, to think that that's who you really want. Like, you don't want them to get the upper hand. So don't try to go get Quez 1-for-1. But in a bigger deal, you can definitely approach a gamer and say, I'll give you Tyler Boyd. You give me Tyler Boyd and Quez Watkins. I'll send you back, I'm just going to say, Josh Jacobs. Like, I'm not saying that's a deal you should make, but something like that, to where they're like, all right, I get Jacobs, I get this big name, I get this big running back, and I'm just giving up Quez Watkins and Tyler Boyd. Yeah, I'll take that deal. Like, you want to package him up in something and try to acquire him. But I think he's got a real good shot of being that second wide receiver on the field, especially when they're in 12 personnel. When they go to 3, then Jalen Reagor bumps to the slot. But what I saw from Quez, I was impressed, man. I was impressed, so I'd be trying to look into acquiring Quez Watkins. Now, if we're getting all these players, we got to be moving some players away, right? Who out there after this past weekend are you just like, I'm going to take advantage of the value spike now, and I'm pivoting? For me, it's we're going to start the quarterback position, and, I mean, he looked lights out. He looked lights out today. Big arm, good decision making, and I'm talking about Colts starting quarterback Jacob Eason. All through camp, it's been, since Wentz went down, it's Eason, is it Ellinger? We're hearing different things. Jacob Eason was out there dropping dimes today. I mean, it was almost like you needed to tell him to throttle down, because every ball looked like a fastball. But when he got set, dude was dropping passes in there. Paris Campbell, dimes over the shoulder, tight end. I'm watching like, damn, this is the Jacob Eason that was a top 10 national player in his high school recruiting class. This is why he was at the University of Georgia, right? And because of all those reasons, because he looked so good, because the passes were so pretty, the deep, the strong arm, the velocity, because of all of that, and still the sour taste that Carson Wentz has left in the mouths of a lot of Dynasty gamers, that is why I would try to move Jacob Eason tonight. Like, in the next couple of days, before he takes the field again. If you're going to move him, you want to move him. Because one or two things are going to happen. One, he's going to go out there and play really well again, and let's see his value bump up a little bit, but we just kind of saw it, and then he does it again. I don't think it's going to go through the roof. But if he goes out there and stinks it up in his second preseason game, his value is going to go down further than any positive game is going to make his value go up. So I'm not even going to run the risk of Jacob Eason going out there in week 2 of the preseason and stinking it up, laying a total egg, and then whatever value I have on him right now, I lose it. I am not going to play Russian roulette with that situation. So right now, in Dynasty, if I had Jacob Eason, I would be trying like hell. I'd be trying my hardest to move him off of a very, very strong performance. But I do not want to be left holding the Eason bag, especially when Carson Wentz is projected to be back by week 1. Like, whatever value he has right now, I'd be trying to extract that value from the player. Jacob Eason, one of my players to trade away now. Now, we're going to talk about two other quarterbacks, and we're just going to talk about them together because I don't think either of them are the quarterback of the future for this franchise. They're probably going to go in another direction next year, and if they don't go in another direction next year, I do not believe this head coach will be around long enough to see the next quarterback. But I'm talking about Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston. I don't care what side of the fence you land on with which quarterback should be starting, which one should be coming off the bench. The right decision is not going to be made. Whatever the right decision is, it's Sean Payton's not going to make it. And Taysom Hill is not. Can he score points at the quarterback position? Absolutely. Because he is an above average thrower, right? Like he can throw the ball. Philip Lindsay probably can't throw the ball. Like Taysom Hill can actually throw the ball. And he's mobile. And he's at a position where, you've got an advantage on some of those deep rollout plays. You've got the option to throw and pass. So, yes, Taysom Hill can score fantasy points, and he could score a lot this season. But with no wide receiver one of consequence, and I like Marquez Callaway, but it's Callaway, it's Traquan Smith, no tight end. You've got Kamara. We'll see how this plays out. I'm nervous because I can just see a world in which the Saints stink and Kamara gets banged up and then he misses all this time because I'm nervous about that whole situation. But Taysom Hill, Jameis Winston are not the answers. Jameis Winston, he does what Jameis Winston does, man. He makes great throws and he makes boneheaded throws. I don't think you can't rely on either of these guys in Dynasty ever becoming anything worth it, anything relevant, and whatever you can get in a trade for the idea of what Taysom Hill could be this season if he's the full-time starter or Jameis Winston. If you can get anything, I would be trying to just move away. I'm telling you, I have more confidence that Jimmy Garoppolo at some point will be a starting quarterback in the league than Taysom Hill ever becoming a starting quarterback outside of New Orleans. And probably after this run, Jameis Winston as well. I'd rather take the risk on a Jimmy Garoppolo, a Sam Darnold. They're all destined like this Drew Lock player. At some point, Drew Lock will start again. Somehow, some way, he'll get an opportunity to start again. Jared Goff has got another opportunity. So that's where I'm at with those guys. Like, if you can trade them, please, please, please get off of those Saints quarterbacks, as well as Xavier Jones and this Jake Funk allure that the Rams backfield is going to bring. No, I don't believe that Darrell Henderson is a true three-down bell cow running back. I don't believe it. I don't think that Sean McVay believes that. And I don't think he's going to be deployed that way. And as much as I thought Xavier Jones' collegiate film, there were flashes of some really good plays, like a really good running back. The likelihood of him really becoming anything worth it in Dynasty is probably like the slimmest of slim, right? But he has appeal for 2021 and maybe some appeal if he plays really well for the beginning of 2022, depending on how they bring Cam Akers back from the injury, how they bring him along. But he's being viewed because of beat reports and camp buzz as like going to be a piece of this offense. Like regardless if he's the starting running back or not, he's going to be a major part, and that very well may be true. But I am not going to be left holding this bag with Xavier Jones. So if you can get him for dirt cheap, right? Like just say, for instance, you can get him for a 2022 fourth rounder. I don't know who would do that, but if you could, yeah, he's worth it because he's probably going to score you some points here in 2021. And at that point, the cost versus the reward, like screw it. It cost me a fourth round pick, whatever. But if you were able to get him off waivers for free, or for whatever your fab budget was, now you can actually return it, because that's what that money is for. Like, you can't really build your dynasty roster with fab money. You can't do that. You can't bank on finding every hidden gem off the waiver wire. But if you were able to get them for free, like, here's where you can extract some value from that fake currency of fab. And you need to throw him in deals. You need to include trades to the Darrell Henderson manager. Like, I would be actively shopping Xavier Jones if I got him for free off the waiver wire. And if you're a team that's built to win now and for whatever reason went zero RB and running back core is depleted, whatever, like not now, but you may consider trading for him for a very, very low price in order to, or as a throw-in piece, to help you get some points this season. So those are just, some players that I think you need to be trading away right now and some players you need to be acquiring. We're going to hopefully get some better submissions for the trade show for this week, and then we'll get back to doing that here this next weekend. But I hope y'all enjoyed the conversation about some of these players. I appreciate y'all tapping in. Until next time, I'll see y'all later, man. Peace.